Alright, in this tutorial I'm trying to remove some of these soldiers here and recompose a lot of the background here. And we're going to use some of the techniques that we've already used, and then we're going to introduce some more that you will have some knowledge of in class with masking. So I'm going to again make a copy just to make sure it's there if we don't ruin it. And I'm going to turn that one off. I'm going to make a new layer here, and what we're going to have to try to do is get rid of these guys. So there's a couple of different ways, and you're not going to follow mine completely. I'm just giving you some tools that you'll find may be helpful and maybe not helpful. So initially we're going to use the clone stamp, and sample all layers is on, and we're going to have a different layer here. And so we're going to get into several layers today probably. So I'm going to hold Alt down. That's going to sample some of this texture. Left click, and that's going to load my brush. And I may crank this opacity up a little bit. I definitely want a soft brush. That's right here. Hardness is 0. And I'm going to just click. And then I'm going to come back, and I can't keep using the same spot because otherwise I'm going to repeat this texture and then it's going to be noticeable. So I'm going to hold Alt down, left click, and then click. And maybe choose some over here and click. And I can just continue to build this up, and I probably should have the opacity up a little bit higher. Because if I do this too much and I don't maintain some texture, then and you're really going to be able to see this repeat, and maybe like right here there's this line may repeat if we're not very careful. So that's one way, and we may get a little bit smaller in here. And it's going to take a little bit of time because we need to be really careful. Going to need to maintain this hillside, so we're going to have to come up here and take some textures, maybe some from this direction. I have to maintain this line, so I may come up here and get this line and try to transfer it over. And you can kind of see how that's happening. Maybe come up from over here. And you're just going to kind of keep working at it where that transfer is. Now there's some other things that we can do. As we get closer in here, it's going to be a little bit harder and harder to get that this clone stamp. So what we're going to need to do is I'm going to kind of turn that one, or lock this one, so I don't actually accidentally do anything on it. Or at least make a new layer. So I'm going to make a new layer right now, and I could have locked it, but I'm going to come in here with a polygon lasso tool, zooming in, and I want to protect this soldier. I don't want to have him ruined, but I also realize that this is not a very high resolution picture. You can see it's pretty fuzzy, so I'm going to add like maybe a 1 or 2 pixel feather, and I'm going to make this selection here. This is going to protect his arm. And I am going to take a little bit of time here. Probably not a lot of other, especially since this is so low resolution, probably not a lot of other tools that are going to be very good here. Probably magnetic lasso tool's not going to be very good. And unfortunately this other guy's foot is back here, and I'm going around. And then I'm going to come on around things that kind of surrounding the area that I do want to work on. And it's kind of time consuming here. I'm going to do a little faster so I'm not wasting your time. But now I can maybe be a little bit more aggressive with this brush, and the more aggressive I am, kind of the better, because then I'm going to maintain more texture, because I do have a soft brush, which means on the outside of this brush it's kind of fuzzing things out, so sometimes it get a little bit muddy. So I'm going to hold Alt down and click, and I just have to really be careful that I'm not repeating any textures too much, so that you can any noticeable textures. Now one way to get around that is I'm going to make a new layer, and I'll show you this. And if you get into trouble and you start to see some textures that are being repeated, this is what we'll do here. See, even though I'm overlapping the soldier's arm, that selection is keeping it protected. I need to get some of this in here to rebuild some of that texture. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on here. And I've kind of repeated there a little bit. We just got to kind of be careful, trying to avoid that as much as we can. Now up in here, we're going to have to make up some information. Be a little creative because we really don't know what it looks like. I want to maintain this black line right across here, this kind of ridge line. A little bit bigger. So you're going to have to spend a little bit of time really trying to modify this so that there's just not a repeating of this white line down through them. Okay.